Hey, Glondor. It's funny you made this video because this actual subject has been on my plate for several days. I just hadn't stuck my fork in it, which I can understand would surprise some people because it doesn't look like anything that goes on my plate doesn't get a fork stuck in it. But yeah, I've been thinking about this too. These labels, these conservative and liberal labels, and in today's political discussions, those terms seem to be used to describe the two the two extremes, I guess you would say, the extreme left and the extreme right. But they're really used out of context. Um, like you said, liberal does not mean what you would expect it to mean when describing the far left. That term would be progressive or fascist, like you said. But I'll use progressive so because it's not so offensive. I don't want to offend anybody. God forbid I offend somebody. I would never do that, not me. But anyway, yeah, the Obamas and his cronies would be more described as progressive socialists, and conservatives. Now, conservative that term encompasses a lot of things. Um, a conservative could be conservative issues are a lot of classic liberal issues are also conservative issues. But there's a lot of conservative issues that are not classic liberal. For example, the war in Iraq. That wouldn't be a classic liberal point of view. That would be a conservative point of view, a neoconservative point of view. Um, but for example, let's take abortion for example. Now, from a classic liberal point of view, um, you separate religion and you separate emotion from the issue when you're legislating about this, and you look at it from a strictly constructionist point of view, and you decide that it's not a human rights issue, therefore it should be left to the states. It shouldn't be something that is legislated federally. It should be left to the states. And individual states can determine for themselves, separating emotion and religion and even science, and they can determine based on what the individuals in their state want on how to legislate the laws pertaining to abortion. That would be a classic liberal point of view. A conservative point of view would be a federal ban on abortion. And a progressive point of view would be a federal law allowing for abortion and a federal law that determines when life begins. So there's the differences basically. You've got progressives and you've got conservatives and you've got classic liberals. And of course, you got moderates and fascists and communists and everything else, but then you're starting to talk about, when you're talking about communists and you're talking about socialists, you're talking more about economic issues. You're talking more about economic policy. If you're going to compare uh, communism and socialism, you would need to compare it to capitalism, you know. And a classic liberal point of view would be a free market point of view where individuals hold the power. Conservatives believe in limited government, uh, which is a classic liberal point of view, but progressives believe in a centralized, powerful government, which wouldn't be a classic liberal point of view. But mainly, you're right. The term liberal has been co-opted, and that co that and people have started using the term liberal out of context. The founding fathers of this country were liberal, um, and they fought against conservatism. The conservative point of view would have been to allow to continue to allow the monarchy to rule this state, rule this country, rule this area, rule this continent, whatever. The the founding fathers were liberals. They were classic liberals, which they believed in liberty, individual freedoms, individual rights, individual powers, property rights, free markets, representation in a form of government that that best represents the citizens, the individuals. So this has kind of been an off base kind of rambling video, but I hope you get the I hope that my point of view has come across somewhat clearly. But anyway, I'm going to end this before I ramble on any further.